you may find yourself in familiar places. Perhaps it's deja vu. Maybe a place visited by a past life. Or perhaps a place from a different realm. A realm of dreams. On May 12, 2019, an anonymous 4chan user asked on the X Paranormal board, post disquieting images that just feel off. Thus became the beginning of what is known as liminal spaces. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. Like a virus, the spread of this new line horror surged throughout Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, and of course, creepypasta.com. To the uninitiated, these images might seem like terrible quality photographs taken in the early 2000s, but there's actually more to these images. In order for an image to qualify as a liminal space photo, the image must meet a certain criteria. The word liminality was first coined by Arnold van Gennep. In his book Rites of Passage in 1908, his use of liminality is defined as passing through a threshold that marks the boundary between two phases. In Gennep's book, he speaks more about the passage of rites in time in a more ritualistic and spiritual way. In a more psychological definition, to be in a liminal space means to be in a precipice of something new, but not quite there yet. You can be in a liminal space physically, emotionally, or metaphorically. Being in a liminal space can be incredibly uncomfortable for most people. None of these two definitions identify exactly what the liminal spaces we are covering, but to really understand this more thoroughly, I think it's necessary to explore it all. According to aesthetics.fandom.com, the aesthetic known as a liminal space is a location that is a transition between two other locations, or states of being. Typically, these are abandoned and oftentimes empty. A mall at 4 in the morning, or a school hallway in the summer. This particular criteria makes the spaces feel frozen, slightly unsettling, and familiar to our minds. I first heard about liminal spaces through the YouTube channel called Nexpo, and if you have watched my channel carefully, specifically the last 2 videos I published, you can see a good amount of influence from him. Not that he needs the plug, but here's his channel and the first video I heard about liminal spaces. As YouTube's algorithm does, it started recommending me things of that nature. To set the mood up, I want to present to you music I discovered during this journey. Music by the artist called Desert Sand Feels Warm at Night. Specifically this album. The album cover looks like early CGI. I don't know what it is about this album, but I really like how much empty space there is. The cloaked figure staring into nothingness but 2 pyramids in the distance. I'll be using altered versions of this album, and I'll also leave a list of songs I used for this video down in the description below. In my opinion, this album is the best representation of what it feels like to be in a liminal space, so I hope you enjoy, my friends. Without any further ado, here's Desert Sand Feels Warm at Night. Let's continue, shall we? I've been wanting to cover this topic since I first heard of it and its subculture. All over TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit, I would find images of liminal spaces and I couldn't be anything but amused. I think a big part of its attraction to me is nostalgia. I don't mean the nostalgia most people talk about. Most people say that liminal spaces create the sensation of being in a familiar place, like deja vu. But for me, I'm more into the photograph's aesthetic quality. Because of the nature of this aesthetic, more genres of images have been birthed as a result. I'm talking about dreamcore, weirdcore, traumacore, and darkcore. I won't get too deep into these because there are so many nuances to them that don't really matter too much to the point of this video. I just really like all these low quality images and how juvenile the creativity can be. But enough about me and my thoughts. It's time to get on with the show. Now that we got an understanding of what liminal spaces are, I want to introduce you to the backrooms. The backrooms are an aftermath of the first image of a liminal space, this image. They were first introduced on the website 4chan and later became more popular through other social media platforms, like I said prior. Since then, the backrooms also bled out into other mediums such as video games and even video series of some sort. I'll be using footage from the channel Matt Studio and Jared Pike. Both are 3D artists that create some of the most beautiful works in this subject, and in my opinion deserve all the exposure in the world. I want to talk about the first 5 levels of the backrooms, as well as some other scattered levels that are associated with them. I'll be covering things like the entities that dwell there, groups of wanderers, the layout and design of the levels, and where the levels rank on their survival difficult class system. Here's an excerpt from the website backrooms-wiki.wiki.com. Yeah, that took me a few tries to say. Most of my information regarding the backrooms comes from that website, so if you want to learn more or partake in the creative writing process of the community, I think you should check their website out. Ever since its founding in 2012, the MEG has been cataloging hundreds of levels, entries, objects, groups, people, and stories from all over the backrooms, with the aim of making passage through this diverse realm less hazardous for those trapped inside. This goal is one that is frustratingly difficult. Even with the wide range of activists, the MEG has working under its name for 2 main reasons. The difficult process of compiling enough data and the general populace's lack of interactions with the full contents of the entries which we publish. Whilst the former issues have been constantly worked on to great success, the latter one has been a subject of great concern. It is calculated that at best, the average database user spends a total of 27 seconds on each individual entry, presumably to skim through an article for information which they are searching for. As such, incidents may arise where the full nature of the described phenomena is not inferred correctly, which could lead to encounters of a dangerous and potential hazardous sort. To counteract this, several efforts have been made to alter the format used in the majority of the articles in hopes to rectify this, all of which have been received positively, but have only increased the average time by a total of 7 seconds. This has led many to ill-prepare themselves for potentially dangerous encounters. As such, the MEG has decided that attempting to increase the time spent reading articles is futile, and instead, making the best of the average time spent would be more beneficial to its cause. With all this said, the MEG would like to introduce its latest additional archival database, the Survival Difficulty Class System. The Survival Difficulty Class System has 7 different levels starting at Class 0, and numerically increasing to Class 5 and with an addition to an undetermined class. Let's go over these classes. The classes are very simple, but also very vague, I guess. So I guess let's just give it a shot and just kind of see where we can go from there. So Class 0 is considered safe, secure, and devoid of entities. Class 1 is considered safe, secure, and has a minimal entity count. Class 2 is considered unsafe, secure, and with a low entity count. Class 3, and this is where things start getting interesting, Class 3 is both unsafe, unsecure, and with a low entity count. Class 4 is both unsafe, unsecure, and with a medium entity count. Class 5, and I'm sure you're starting to recognize the patterns at this point. The difference now is that Class 5 means that the zone is infested with all sorts of entities. And finally, we get to the 7th class. Class Undetermined. If a level does not have enough information to properly determine the survival difficulty, the undetermined class can be used. The SD class system is broken down into 3 main sections: safety, security, and entity count. Safety is how dangerous a level is in general, and the default components will either say safe or unsafe depending on which version is used. If a level is marked as safe, it is generally considered safe for wanderers to be inside or travel through. This does not necessarily mean that the safe rating signifies that it's impossible to encounter any dangers within the level. Peril follows us no matter where we are. A safe rating simply means that your survival is more guaranteed in a level labeled as such. Thus, safety as a scale can be represented by a horizontal spectrum. If the level is marked as unsafe, it means the opposite. The level is usually very difficult to travel through or live in. Unsafe levels can be marked as such for a variety of reasons, such as entity counts, poor environmental conditions, or hostile groups of people who inhabit the level.
level. Security describes how well mapped a level is, as well as how easy a level is to traverse.
Things such as environment, terrain, atmospheric condition, temperature, sustained bases, and whatever else can all determine the security of a level.
The default components will say either secure or unsecure. Secure levels usually have trivially traversable terrain, a habitable environment, and a few sturdy bases here and there. A good example of a level that is secure would be level 11, which is widely known for its wanderer hotspot due to its scarce dangers. On the other hand, unsecure levels usually have a blend of uncomfortable environments, hazardous terrain, and a few, if any, bases. An example of an unsecure level would be level 3, which is highly unexplored, structurally unsound labyrinthine levels that is riddled with entities, terrain that is nigh impossible to traverse, and uncomfortably warm temperatures that can sometimes even be lethal.
Entity count is somewhat self-explanatory, but is categorized into 6 different sections that we will go over.
Devoid of entities, which means no hostile entities exist in the level, and it's safe for the occasional straggler from another group. This does not necessarily mean, however, that there are no entities at all within the boundaries of the level. Passive entities, as has been noted, do not usually count towards this total. Minimal entity count, which means there is a minuscule amount of entities in the level. This typically means that hostile entities are not a major issue at all, and their numbers are insignificant in a grand scheme of things. Low entity count. A low entity count means that when traversing the level, a wanderer is bound to encounter a hostile entity or two during their travel, but they will generally have an ample time to take a breather should they need to do so. Medium entity count. Wanderers who explore the levels with a medium entity count will most definitely encounter a concerning amount of hostile entities, and they should always be on their guard for any attacks. Entity infestation. With this category, there's an incomprehensible, large population of hostile entities at the level. Wanderers traversing levels with this number of entities are guaranteed to encounter multiple entity attacks during their exploration. Traversing through hostile entity-infested levels is generally unadvised unless absolutely necessary. For obvious reasons, no level which requires you to always keep a weapon at hand when traveling should be considered even remotely safe. Undocumented entities. The amount of hostile entities, or rather entities in general, is unknown. Wanderers are nonetheless advised to prepare for the worst, as the lack of information is a pitfall for many daring wanderers.
In addition to the primary SD classes of 0 to 5 and undetermined, there are a few additional SD classes that serve their own purposes. Here are brief explanations for each one. A habitable SD class means that the level is completely safe to live in, with an astronomically low chance of notable danger existing within the said level. Preparations of entity attacks at all times is unneeded, as is preparation for sudden environmental changes or deadly terrain shifts. It is to be noted that a distinction is made between habitable and Class 0 ratings. Class 0 levels are usually not dangerous, but do not hold the potential to sustain perennial communities on their own. Habitable class levels, on the other hand, are both relatively safe and hold the potential for sustained life. A dead zone classification means that the level in question is considered utterly unfit for human life. This can be caused by various factors, such as an immediately dangerous environment, the presence of a substance lethal to humans, or anomalous effects that cause the level to be uninhabitable for some unexplainable reason. Dead zones are not entirely unsurvivable, however. Some of them can be traversed safely or even lived in, with proper equipment and preparations. Exploring a dead zone is not a feat to take lightly, and should be thoroughly planned out beforehand so as to have a highest chance of survival. A pending class is merely just a placeholder for when the level's class is still undetermined, most often due to ongoing studies or sudden changes in the level's environment. Not applicable is a seldom given class that is assigned to a level unexplorable by normal means or to one that does no longer exist. Amended is a class given to articles that have been noticeably altered to extraordinary means. This class is not given out often, as altered documents can sometimes be difficult to notice. However, the class is always assigned to articles the moment these alterations are discovered. Levels such as level 721 has been assigned the amended class due to this. Omega is assigned to levels that have been classified due to the entry containing sensitive information. As amended, this class is given out rarely, as our mission is not to hide information from the public. This class exists for when we must do so when it's safer that the public does not know about it. To enter the Backrooms, you have to no-clip into it. No-clipping is a video game term meaning that the player passes through a physical boundary created by the developers of the game, like walls or floors. These barriers are created so players don't get to see the outer world. The outer world is typically barren and lacking in design. In this case, we're talking about the real world. No-clipping out of the real world would end you in the Backrooms.
When entering the Backrooms, you are met with a yellow-stained walls and carpet. The buzz from the fluorescent lights wake you up. The cold, dead air fills the room. As you proceed from picking yourself up from the moldy carpet, you have now entered Level 0, the lobby. Survival difficulty is at Class 1. Unrecognizable chatter is heard from time to time. You seem to be all alone, but the voices might say otherwise. Most unnerving of all is you see movement in your peripheral vision appearing like bugs crawling all over the wallpaper. You turn to look only to find out nothing was ever there. You are most prone to die at level 0 due to dehydration, starvation, and psychological trauma. The room is devoid of life, resources, and most of all, hope. Despite the fact that it is the primary entrance to the Backrooms, contact with other wanderers within the level has never been reported. Those with strong wills may find themselves looking for a way out, an exit of sorts, in a technical sense at least. The only way to exit level 0, aside from natural causes or by, is to use the same method that got you into the dilemma in the first place. You need to no-clip. Leaving level 0 would only take you to the next level, Level 1. You must be wondering, how does one find out about no clipping to the next level? If one is to continuously walk into one direction in level 0, they may find what is called the Manila Room. The Manila Room will always appear in the same location for everyone when discovered, and does not have the same effects as level 0, which prevents wanderers from meeting. This leads to wanderers appearing to fade into existence upon entering. As far as I'm able to investigate, since the writing of this script and the amount of energy that I had to put on this 30-page project.
Estoy cansado, jefe.
There are two groups that are at war for territory and others that are there for survival. A group under the name the Major Exploration Group, or the MEG for short, which are one of the factions of survivalists in the Backrooms. They try to keep new wanderers informed with information about the rooms, the entities that may stumble upon, traps, and survival techniques. The MEG uses the Manila Room to store documentation that explains the Backrooms and provides essential information for new wanderers, of which roughly 36% reported that the documentation had been crucial in escaping level 0. Yeah. I just thought it's essential to talk about the MEG considering the help that they provide to get past the first entry level.
Before delving into level 1, let's provide a brief description of some of the more common entities we may encounter while traversing the levels. We won't cover entities that are still under rewrite or seem uninteresting. Some entities we discuss are included simply because we find them intriguing. If this video garners enough interest, we may dedicate a separate video to explore all these entities in greater detail. In the universe within the Backrooms, the term entity serves as an umbrella encompassing a vast array of beings. These entities exhibit a wide spectrum of characteristics, ranging from benevolent inhabitants with human-like intelligence, to mindless and instinct-driven creatures, to entities whose motives and abilities remain shrouded in mystery. This database is a repository of first-hand accounts, meticulously documenting unique behaviors, preferred habitats, and psychological requirements of these diverse entities. However, it's important to note that the database may contain conflicting reports and varying perspectives. In the enigmatic and ever-shifting landscape of the Backrooms, trusting one's instincts often proves to be the most prudent course of action when dealing with entities. A general rule of thumb for interacting with these entities is to exercise caution, and whether possible, avoid unnecessary contact. This guideline is not only for their safety, but also for the well-being of the entities themselves. Given the unpredictable nature of the Backrooms and the complexity of the entities that dwell within it, erring on the side of caution is a wise approach. Ultimately, their intuition and judgment may be their most valuable asset in navigating this enigmatic realm and ensuring their survival. We won't delve into humans here, as it's pretty self-explanatory. We're the first entity after all. Smilers are typically hostile entities with numerous confirmed sightings. They can be recognized by their reflective eyes and gleaming teeth in the darkness. To escape them, maintaining eye contact is crucial. Smilers primarily inhabit dark areas on level 2 and 3, with their base being known as the Smiling Room. Death moths are large moths residing in the backrooms. Male death moths are mostly harmless, potentially even tameable, but the females are significantly larger, can spit acid, and are entirely hostile. They are attracted to light, so extinguish any light source if you hear any fluttering. Smaller death moths inhabit level 2, 3, and 5, but the larger and more dangerous ones are exclusively in level 5, where their hive and royal pair reside, having taken over the level completely. Clumps are peculiar and agile creatures composed of bundled limbs. They thrive in tight spaces relative to their size, making them challenging to spot. You may encounter clumps in level 2 and 3. Dullars are enigmatic beings usually found in the lower levels of the backrooms. They appear as dark gray humanoid figures lacking distinct facial features or ears. Their method of hunting prey remains a mystery, as they typically flee from threats. The term hound originated from the canine-like characteristics of these entities, as they move on all fours and viciously attacks anyone who incites them. Hounds possess an unusual humanoid physiology, featuring limbs adapted for quadrupedal movement. They exhibit a strong predisposition toward aggression, often triggered by encountering aggression in others. However, they can be deterred through direct eye contact, which can intimidate them. Facelings, also known as Entity 9, are humanoid entities commonly found across various levels of the backrooms. They closely resemble humans in terms of biology and behavior, despite not needing internal organs to survive. Facelings mimic human practices, roles, and routines, often with limited understanding. They tend to inhabit levels with urban environments or significant human populations, with their numbers correlated to human population size. Entity 10, known as skin stealers, are large humanoid entities capable of wearing the skin of their victims as disguises. They consume human flesh when hungry and wander aimlessly otherwise. Their blood is translucent and they can mimic human speech. They are commonly found on the first 3 levels, but appear in other levels as well. Bursars found on level 3 have a vague humanoid appearance and move on all fours with elongated back legs, resembling a canine structure. They have calluses on their backs that release acidic fluids when agitated or hunting. Dunks are small boxy entities with trunk-like appendages resembling human arms. They are easily tamed and highly compliant to their owner's commands. Tamed dunks can commit acts of extreme violence if instructed, with the exception of not harming those who appear elderly. Dunks are adventurous and found in well-lit levels, displaying remarkable adaptability. Wretches are human-like entities often described as undead or zombie-like. They were once human but transformed through a poorly understood process, likely related to deprivation of essential sustenance. Wretches are commonly found throughout the backrooms, lurking in shadows wherever humans gather. Entity 23 takes the form of a dark brown horse with unknown gender and age. It's commonly sighted in levels resembling natural spaces like forests and fields. Approach to within 40 meters of the horse is entirely inaccessible, and those attempting to approach report being physically displaced when it moves. Death rats are entities found in various backroom levels, adapting to their specific environments. They have inhabited the backrooms for years, initially as normal rats and gradually evolving to suit their climate. Plague goblins resembling medieval plague doctors are small, elusive, feline avian entities that scurry about the backrooms. They are opportunistic foragers that, while usually timid, can be a nuisance for explorers, especially when traveling alone.
Now we talk about level 1. Level 1 is described as a large sprawling warehouse that features concrete floors, exposed rebar, and a low-hanging fog with no discernible sources. Unlike the previous level, level 1 has a consistent supply of water and electricity. It is wide-ranging with a vastity of hallways, staircases, elevators, and confined rooms. Items such as crude paintings can be found on this level only to disappear when left unattended by the eyes. Crates of supplies appear and disappear randomly within the level, often containing a mixture of vital items such as food, almond water, berries, tarps, weaponry, medical supplies, and more almond water. And nonsensical objects such as assorted car parts, boxes of crayons, used syringes, partially burned papers, live mice in catatonic state that have been injected with unknown substances for whatever reason, shoelaces, loose change, bundles of human hair, a combination of weird things, you know? Though the crates are a valuable resource, they should be approached with caution and is well guarded from any entities. Aside from the MEG, you can find the BNTG, short for Backrooms Non-Aligned Trade Group. They were once part of the MEG, but decided to separate and begin their own journey. There isn't any specific reasons why they decided to split the MEG, but I like to believe that they did because MEG's plans were to continue voyaging through all the levels until they found a way out or to uncover more information about this mysterious realm. The few people that decided to stay and settle down on the first few levels became the BNTG. The faction has since made a huge city in the level 1's halls called Trader's Keep. This city has everything one would need: a police department, fire department, food department. The faction's most important part of the city is called the Trader's Vault, a heavily guarded place where all the equipment, tools, weapons, and food are stored for further use by the people of the Backrooms. Everything is stored in multiple vaults, found in a portion of level 1, which resembles a long hallway of storage rooms with garage doors. You can leave level 1 by simply continuing to explore the Backrooms. Wandering down any extended hallway often leads to level 2. Finding holes in the wall will lead you to level 19. Where the ceiling has a painting on it. No clip through and you will be at a party. Additional to entering by no clipping from level 0, there are 3 other ways to specifically return back to level 1. The Backrooms are very obscure and its lore is written somewhat like video game level design. It makes sense considering, you know, the themes going on, like the phrase no clipping. I think it's pretty cool and fun to ride in this manner, so let's talk about these hidden wormholes, shall we? Now I'm going to talk about level 11.1. So 11.1 is a sub-level between level 11 and level 12.
So while I was editing this video, I went back to get some images of the level from the site, but it looks like the page has been taken down. I'm going to reference the original script and use my own imagery to symbolize information ahead. Just know that level 11.1 might not be a thing or be something completely different in the time of watching this video.
It is ranked under class 2, unsafe, secure, and low entity count. Most wanderers that have gone through level 11.1 have not made it out. I mean, imagine, you stand in what seems to be an endless forest in which only red and orange hues are able to perceive by your retinas. There must be a shortage of regular herbal life, it seems, since the oxygen levels in level 11.1 are severely low. Within some of the trees, there's a toxic radioactive gas. These trees are discernible by an obvious 3-hole pattern emitting an orange glow. It is best not to go anywhere near these trees as they bring only death. All of this can lead to a shortage of oxygen that causes blackouts, and as well as radioactive poisoning. If this is not frightening enough to convince you to run past this level, then perhaps the only known creature of level 11.1 might. This creature is a snake-like entity with 2 heads. Its bite may not carry any venom, but what is certain is that it carries the lethal charge of electricity. If for whatever reason you're trying to enter level 11.1, you may find the entrance by no clipping into any tree from any level. Yeah, wow, that's a very easy way to find this dangerous room. To exit, you need to climb up on one of the trees and go inside the opaque layer of red leaves. They'll split apart beneath you and you'll fall into a random level, which can be level 0, 1, 2, or level 3. You can also go back to level 11 by walking toward it. I'm not even too sure where the exit back, I guess entrance to level 11 is, but sure, let's just go with that, I guess. Level 92. Level 92 appears to be an infinite hall and stairway, both of which glow crimson red. This level is almost completely devoid of entities. Wanderers that explore this level with other people seemingly become alone eventually. Once somebody is in the same level, they'll appear at the stairway. The stairway glows in crimson red, as I said prior, and would have gold bars leading to the top. The place would be very quiet at first until one starts walking up the stairs. Slow and smooth jazz music will start to play and will stay like that until the wanderer leaves. Once the music starts, one will feel like they're being watched. Sitting on the stairs for a bit can cause nauseous feelings. One will even pass out, waking up on a bench in level 11. Once up in the stairs, there will be a door that leads to a hallway. If one waits too long to open it, one will hear whispers repeatedly attempting to convince one to open the door. The whispers are very faint, much quieter than the jazz music that's already playing, which in itself is already pretty darn quiet. Now we talk about the hallways. the hallways of level 92. The hallways will have the same crimson glow as the stairs on certain parts of it. The halls are quite short with doors on either side and doors at the very end, which will lead to the same stairway. In other scenarios, one will end up in a lobby room that also leads to level 11. The doors lead to different rooms, which seem to randomly generate with the vents in different doors which lead to different rooms. They're all apartment rooms and will have around 1 to 3 entities, or rarely more. These entities look like normal people minding their own business, most likely ignoring wanderers. In the rooms there are windows that seem to show level 11 at midnight, and all clocks are stuck at 11:32 a.m. Some rooms can lead to different levels, while others lead to elevators that will often lead to level 65. In these rooms, normal to very strange events will happen, all of which are actually listed. Now, these are 5 known possible events that could happen if you were to be at this level, but I'm only going to explain event 5 since this is how it ties back to level 1. And also, we would be here all day for this possibly hour-long or more video. Event 5. Out of all the 5 events, this is one of the rarer ones. In this event, an entity, most likely Mel, will tell you to come into their apartment. At this point, he'll want to show you around his apartment and give you a tour, as he calls it. If denied, he will beg. If you keep denying, it will get more and more intense until he charges at you. At this point, you will pass out and wake up in level 30. And I don't know what he does to like make you pass out. I don't know, like you just have a, I don't know. If you listen and let you give you a tour, he will show you different rooms at random. Although while this is happening, you will feel like you're being watched. And doors are open just by a crack where you're not able to see inside. If tried to interact with it, the man will grab you and you'll also pass out again. And then you'll wake up in level 40. At the end of the tour, you'll randomly ask to use the bathroom. He'll allow you to do so and you'll walk in to do your business. At this point, you'll feel like something is a bit off and you'll notice that the door has opened a crack. You'll open it to find a camera on a stand recording you with a shadowy figure behind you. And at this point, you'll pass out and wake up at level 1. So it seems like no matter what you do, it's like you're just gonna be in this room just to pass out somehow and just get teleported into different levels of the back rooms. That last one was kind of freaky though, getting recorded and then there's a figure behind you. But how do you know there's a figure behind you? Like, are you like seeing, I don't know, like the screen, like the side, you're seeing the side screen of the fucking Sony A7 IV or something? Now they probably have like some cheap like VHS stuff from like the 80s, I have to imagine, just considering the aesthetics alone. Level 94 appears to be a large town, a floating castle, and grass hills, but everything has a grainy effect as if this place was crafted, which means I guess like someone made it up in I don't know, like just put a filter. The main town is safe with no entities during the day. This town has a big water fountain in the center flowing with almond water. It seems to be set like somewhere around the 1930s in a stop motion type feel. This town has tiny houses with some furniture, mostly from the 1930s to the 1950s. The town also has 1930s styled cars and milk vans filled with almond milk. I hate almond milk. The town also has siren pools, which from time to time play happy cartoon music. At this time, everything is safe until it turns to night. The music will stop completely, and at this time, the entity known as animations will start to appear and will attack violently if spotted. Other entities that appear at night are smilers, skin stealers, hounds, and male death mounts. But there's also death rats, which evolve to look like a normal rat, and this stop motion look because animations usually attack anything that does not look animated. The grass hills of level 94 usually go on forever and are infinite. The only thing there are a few strange cars packed in the middle of nowhere and a water tower, which seem to contain, as you know it, almond water. What is strange about the hills is that random sets of furniture and even entire single rooms of a house can be found. Or sometimes it's just a wall with furniture next to it. Above the hills, you'll see a floating castle on what looks like a transparent mountain. This is where level 94 can be really trippy for the human mind. This area for some reason will lose its cartoony effects on photos, which possibly means that the level is losing its effect in the castle. This castle appears to be in a strange funhouse area and is very bright in some rooms. You can find ball pits, playgrounds, and an animation studio with a miniature replica of the town and its entities. In this castle, the only entities that can appear are what are called Robomen. Their appearance is an old-style robot toy from the 1930s in an animated form. They seem to be guards of this castle and are hostile if they spot you interacting with any objects in the castle. After wandering through the castle, which also seems to be infinite, you will soon find a large doorway that will lead to the throne room. In this room, you'll find an entity known as the Animated King. At first, doesn't seem hostile, but will, in fact, control you. And you can soon become part of the animations. But he will at first put you through a test. A test of withstanding your own nightmares in an animated form. If you happen to succeed, he will let out a burst of light and you will either be sent out to the castle to the town or one of the main levels, which is how you can get back to level 1, but it seems like it's at random. That was a lot. I just wanted to cover level 1 in depth just to show you how much of a maze this realm can be. If I describe each level with the same amount of detail, I think this video would easily be past 3 hours long, if not more. But let's continue. Level 2 consists mainly of dark gray concrete maintenance tunnels stretching on for millions of miles. The walls are lined with pipes and occasionally ventilation ducts, which often contains a thick, vicious black liquid. Doors can sometimes be found, but most are locked or lead to dead ends. These rooms typically house shelves with random assortments of objects, occasionally computers. In certain parts of hallways in level 2, the heat can become unbearable, reaching 43 degrees Celsius. This is usually in areas where the machinery is loudest, typically at the ends of hallways. The entities found on this level are some of the most dangerous in the Backrooms. Noises can be heard from the vents, which are caused by crawlers. Other beings here include smilers, child facelings, clumps, hounds, male deathmouth, wretches, plague goblins, bursters, and skin stealers. The only thing you need to know and can know is to run away the moment you see one. Level 2 is one of the only levels in the Backrooms that can be directly assessed from normal reality. You can come across level 2 by exploring for long enough in level 1. It can also be assessed from the hub. Contrary to popular belief, not all the doors in level 2 are locked or lead to dead ends. Some can lead into level 3, level 4, and occasionally back to level 1. Finding a comically proportionate multicolored door that's unlocked will lead to level 283. If you no-clip into an extremely hot area in level 2, you can wind up in level 2.1. Here are some cool images of what you can expect of the levels and their survival difficulty. Level 283 is a giant complex of interior playground mazes that was discovered by the BNTG on December 14th, 2016. BNTG caravan group Golden Acre was traveling across level 10 when they came into contact with a strange square plane of blue wheat, which was one of the first entrances used to get into level 283 by the MEG and BNTG. Level 2.1 doesn't really have a description, so we're going to move on forward. Or any information about level 2.1 or any level really may differ from the time of viewing this video. As of November 7th, 2022, by the way, I wrote that on the script. That is when I wrote this part. I am recording this now on June 25th, 2023. As of that date, November 7th, 2022, level 2's article is under rewrite. Level 3 is a series of long, dark, twisted hallways that work similar to level 0. They all consist of randomly segmented rooms which from in no particular pattern and are extremely loud with noises of machinery. The hallways are very narrow and enclosed. Some even require wanderers of average height and build to bend, hunch, crawl, or walk sideways through them. So it's a very claustrophobic level, and that is one of my deepest Yeah, the walls are conspired of dusty brown bricks, usually covered in segments of copper pipes and mechanical components. The floors are made out of even dustier gray tiled floor, whilst the ceiling is made out of entirely from metal. Level 3 is one of the larger levels in the Backrooms, estimated at around 350 million square miles in area, which is kind of confusing because if you really listen to some of the lore of the Backrooms, it's like sometimes they'll just say like, oh, this room is infinite, and then it's like this is one of the biggest levels, and it's like here's an actual size. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. Anyways, I digress. This presumed size makes sightings of fellow wanderers scarce when traveling through level 3. It is recommended that you enter level 3 only if you are properly prepared to defend yourself from anything lurking in the hallways with you, as it's highly unlikely that any aid will come to you should you need it. Level 3, while relatively dangerous, is considered a hotspot for supply bases. This is because level 3 is rich with resources such as almond water, false outlets, liquid pain, fire salts, royal rations, squirt guns, and bottled lightning. Along with the aforementioned items, other objects not native to the Backrooms can be found throughout the level, such as knives, lighters, bolt cutters, flashlights, and other miscellaneous weapons or supplies. Notably, level 3 is also the level in which Wi-Fi in the Backrooms is the strongest. Expect that at all. Sitting at a consistent 3 or 4 bars instead of fluctuating randomly with the majority of the other levels. Who's paying for the services and how did it even get set up? Regardless, it's there, and I'm sure it must have some canonical reason for it. The machinery found throughout the level operates autonomously without any need or external intervention. Wanderers may benefit from useful machinery or tap into apparently infinite extra normal supplies of electricity powering them. However, the anatomy of these machines also make them hazardly volatile. Machines often break down and require regular maintenance, which is dangerous since their power supply cannot be turned off by any means. Furthermore, the machines have been known to spontaneously combust or explode on several occasions, causing grievous injury to wanderers who just happen to be in the vicinity. Level 3 contains many dangerous entities. It is almost impossible to traverse large distances without encountering them at least once. Hounds, facelings, wretches, male and female death mouths, skin stealers, dullers, milers, clumps, and bursters seem to inhabit this level, preying on anyone unlucky enough to succumb them. The crawler fungus has been found growing here, and high humidity makes it easy for this disease to spread here as well. So you are advised to maintain proper hygiene practices while making your way through the tunnel. From what I'm reading here, there is another group aside from the MEG called the FOJ, which stands for the followers of Jerry are a religious cult in the Backrooms of both humans and entities that worship Jerry, a blue macaw parrot who they consider to be a godlike figure. Those who have been indoctrinated into the group by coming into physical contact with the bird claim that touching Jerry has allowed them to understand that Jerry is everything, and Jerry is what they must live for. Those on the outside call them brainwashed. Unlocked doors of level 2 commonly lead to level 3. Elevators of level 4 and level 5 can lead back to level 3 as well. Entering bunkers on level 10 can sometimes lead to level 3. Buildings on level 11 that have a similar look to level 3 on the inside can sometimes teleport you back as well. Rusty pipes found inside level 13 may lead to level 3 should you make contact with them. The metro is also an easy way to access level 3. Elevators on level 3 can usually lead to level 4 and level 55. Wooden doors lead to level 31. Sitting in the front seats of cars that are found in electrical rooms will cause you to fall unconscious, and upon waking up, you will be in level 69. Level 4 resembles an empty office building, though it's almost completely devoid of furniture. Some rooms on this level have windows, though most of them have been completely blacked out. Any windows that have not been blacked out are considered traps and should be avoided at all costs. Level 4 is mostly devoid of entities, but hounds and dullers are the only ones that have been observed. Because of the lack of beings, there are lots of people on level 4. Scattered around this level, water coolers, vending machines, and fountains containing almond water can be found. And level 4 is also very easy to escape from and also return to. There are many ways to reach this level. Some of the most known ways are to no-clip into the wall in the hub. You can also get there from level 3 using the elevators or by finding a door on level 2 that is unlocked. Falling through the pit in level 283 has a chance of teleporting divers through the ceiling of level 4. Level 4 occasionally has exits that lead to level 5 and level 6. Most exits take the form of office-style stairways or occasional elevators that may even lead back to level 3. Rarely though, stairs leading to a basement can be found, and these go to level 71. As with almost all exits in the back rooms, once you lose a direct line of sight with it, it may disappear unexpectedly. There are countless level descriptions you can go through. Some are lackluster and others have grandiose stories to tell. And I can definitely see the appeal coming from a creative writing perspective. If you would like to read more and even create your own levels following the systems that I just went over, then go to the backrooms-wiki.wiki.com. Also, let me know in the description below if you guys would like to see me cover more levels. Hell, even suggest a level. Personally, what really got me invested into the Backrooms was the mystery and aesthetics, and what is lurking in the shadows. Tagged along with the music that has been associated with the images and videos created by many talented artists. I'm not really that interested into the groups or the entities that really dwell into the Backrooms and its levels, but some are a little freaky, and I'm really into that sort of horror thing. I just feel like exploring the Backrooms on its own just seems like a lot of fun. I don't know. Some of the creative writing of the Backrooms kind of feels a bit too juvenile for my taste as well. I read a couple and they just kind of felt like it wasn't very strong on the technical writing parts. If you look past it, there is story to tell. I can feel the fun people have exploring and creating their own levels. Hell, maybe I'll give it a shot someday. I don't know. I thought it would be pretty cool to go around the city and to see if I could find some liminal spaces for myself. I'd like to give credit to Alpha Oxtrot for making a video on this topic, actually. If you like the poo-poo humor like me, then I think you should go check him out. If you watch Alpha's video on liminal spaces, you start to understand that most people's understanding of what a liminal space is just subjective. I'm not going to try to define anything or try to dissect liminal spaces according to the wiki, because it seemed to just backfire on Alpha's attempt.
Out of nearly 400 photos, I narrowed it down to 3 that were even slightly liminal. 600! I posted this photo 20 hours ago and it's already on its way to being ingrained in liminal.
What is this? Removed? Alpha Chad 69. Thank you for your submission. Unfortunately, it has been removed for violating the following rules. Oh dear.
Instead, I'm just gonna go out into the wild and just try to get a feel for some spaces I'm in. After all, that's kind of what liminal spaces are all about. Feelings.
Diego's gonna be coming soon. He's gonna be coming through that door right there. I'm just testing out the camera and the microphone setup. This is what it looks like, actually. Hold on. Like that. This is Diego. So we decided to go downtown to see a very specific building that is very notorious for having a lot of empty rooms and hallways.
It's a smiler.
Well, this spot is a bust. The thing is, we weren't exactly sure how accessible this place was, and we weren't really adamant on the idea of breaking the law. This is as close as we can get inside the building without raising any alarms or setting foot on private property, because we were trying to avoid moments like this. By the way, this is a photo we took at the Sears, and I just really didn't think it was worth showing, but I thought the moment was kind of funny to include. Which wasn't really trespassing, but, you know, we definitely looked a little shady.
Let's go.
Then we stumbled upon this park across the street from the notorious building. We thought it looked a little strange since the area we were in was, well, rough, for lack of better words. I really wish we were here at night to take more ominous photos, but the edits I did made it a little more interesting. This location was one of the two that I felt had the most potential. But while we were circling the area, we came to find out that there was a police department less than a block away. At some point, we thought that an undercover constable was tailing us. A conspicuous white SUV took 3 exact turns until we left the vicinity. We ended up parking 2 blocks away and walked to check this place out. And while we were walking, we saw 2 actual constables circling the block. So this is the best we could do without entering this property. But unfortunately they demolished it. This was the second place that I thought would have the most potential. It was an abandoned hospital called Pristine Hospital. Pristine Hospital? It's not pristine any longer, so... We were kind of bummed out at this point and worn out from the last location, since we had to travel a few blocks back and forth. This was the location I was least excited about. You see, I've known about this place since I was a kid. I skateboarded in the parking lot with my middle school friend, and maybe a lonesome corner of the mall every now and then. I've been on walking dates with a few girls from high school, some of which did a number on me when I was young and, well, dumber. I outgrew this place and moved to what I thought were better places. But honestly, this place was awesome.
We're gonna find Osama bin Laden. This is about.
We ended up exploring the eerier side of the mall, which we both had never entered. Needless to say, we weren't disappointed. Actually, we were quite shocked. Diego and I struck gold in the most unexpected of places, and it just kept getting better. I think I'll let the visuals do the rest of the talking, because I think it's worth seeing. And this is where we found exactly what we were searching for. The Backrooms. Sort of.
I didn't think I thought there was windows.
It was the Holy Grail, and I don't think this day could have gotten any better, honestly. But it did. So this is a place that we want to come visit, but I don't know.
Oh no, he's coming.
Dude, there's so many dogs.
Oh, dude. Oh, they're cute. That's a cutie. That's a cutie. That's a real cutie.
We startled these dogs, and one of the members who was working on the property came out. We decided to be polite and waved and gestured at him to meet us at the side of the fence. The gentleman seemed to be calm and understanding, so I decided to take my shot and asking if he could take us on a tour to do some photography. To our surprise, he said yes and told us to meet him at the front of the gate.
Vamos a estar bien con los perros.
The dogs were super friendly as we entered the property. We were in awe, thinking of what was ahead. Just when we thought we hit our peak, we met this guy. He was more than great. We were very grateful for him giving us a big tour. We asked if he would like some lunch on us, but he kindly declined and said he appreciated the honesty and the kind approach. We said goodbye and we took our leave.
Gracias, Don. Pase buena noche. Dude, I don't lie, bro. When I saw the stairs were missing steps, I was like, I don't know if I can do this, man.
Well, you go first,
No,
man.
you go first. I'm good.
Pásate acá, güey, mira.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh my God.
I'm about to die. I was like, you go first. I want to see how you do it.
So I just woke up. It is currently October 23rd, 2 p.m. I decided to upload the photos to Reddit last night to include any results, if any, to the video. Honestly, I was kind of nervous because first off, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find any liminal spaces out in the wild. Secondly, I feel like when you try really hard, sometimes the results can come off as cheesy or pretentious. Someone better show this video to Alpha. Not to brag, I'm a fan, so it'd be cool to have the guy who I got the idea from get some praise. But I'm super stoked on some of these comments. Anyways, on to the finale. There is so much more that I could have gone over. And even as I'm recording this video, I'm more than sure that there'll be more material written or created about this topic. The reason why I was so called to make a video about liminal spaces is mainly because of the theme of emptiness. I'm gonna open up here. Do I really want to do this? When I first stumbled upon the concept of liminal spaces, I was in solitude. I inhabited a modest 4-room house, my only company being my thoughts, which I was so blessed to have the opportunity given by 2 of my seniors. As I share this video with you today, I have returned to the bustling embrace of the city. It's the music and the eerie essence of liminal spaces that resonated with me. Somehow it mirrored the chapters of my life. Hollow, seemingly devoid of purpose, and locked in a state of stillness. In the midst of it all, I entered into a relationship that ultimately didn't find its footing. Within the span of October 2022, I found the courage to walk away from my job, bid a farewell to a relationship that no longer served me, and now I've chosen to leave behind this very house. And here I am, rekindling my passion for creating videos, a pursuit I regretfully let slip away. These past few months have been difficult to say the least. While crafting this video, an epiphany unfolded within me, revealing that liminality was more than just an aesthetic concept we've explored together. As I finalized the script for this video, amidst all these transformative shifts, I came to the realization that I too was navigating a liminal space. I was transitioning away from a toxic environment, stepping into a realm where I hold the reins over my time and work remotely. Simultaneously, I made the choice to step out of a harmful relationship and embark on a journey of self-discovery, learning to love and care myself. For so long I've been a people pleaser, often neglecting my own well-being. This house has bestowed upon me numerous opportunities which I will forever cherish. However, the time has come to forge ahead. Creating new memories in a place that once bore witness to nights filled with solitude, sadness, and inertia. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all those who have accompanied me on this journey. It all makes sense now. Liminality, transitions, nostalgia, they all hold their own significance, but life persists in this unceasing flow. Attempting to halt it is nothing short of self-sabotage. If you can get anything out of this video, let it be this. Keep moving forward. It's natural to cast a brief glance over your shoulder at the past, but remember, the treasures that await over the horizon are infinitely more precious. Look ahead, for that is where the future lies. Before we wrap up this video, I want to express my gratitude to the creators of whose videos I've used to illustrate the different levels of the Backrooms. Without their contributions, I don't think I would have made this video engaging as it turned out to be. A big shout out goes to Alpha Oxtrot, Andy R Animation, Bright Sun Films, Jarrett Pike, Kane Pixels, Lost in the Hyperspace, Matt Studios, Nexpo, High on a Plate Productions, Ruster, That Cubic Boy, The One and Only Onyx, Efu, Bushi, Backroom Series, Dr. Sponge, and Valox. Thank you so much to all these creators, and I hope you guys can go ahead and check their channels out.
It's been quite the journey, not only from the beginning to end of this video, but since I've been gone. I have no doubts in my mind that if you are a viewer of this channel, you too are a survivor, and I am happy that you are alive as well. Much love, bruv. Seriously. Whatever you're going through now or have gone through, yeah, that you're still here on Earth doing some kick-ass shit and surviving. Good job, seriously. I actually mean that. I'm off script right now, I promise. Let me ask you, I guess, in the comment section below, what is your liminal space? What are you facing right now? What have you faced that has been challenging? Sound off in the comments below. I would love to hear your journey. Regardless, I hope you get through it all, friends. If you'd like to support the channel, give us a thumbs up or share the video with someone who you think might appreciate this type of content. Doing this brings us blessings, and the algorithm spirits favor us by bringing exposure to the channel.
I wish you all the best, my friends. Stay safe, be kind, and when life gets overwhelming, don't hesitate to come back home to us and experience something